All right. Joined today on the Batcave Podcast with a special guest right out here out of Nashville, Big Trip.
Oh, man.
Thanks for taking time out of your day to be here today.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Here with the real Batman.
The real Batman,
again,
yeah.
Bro. Good seeing you again.
Let's get started just how you first got into pursuing music.
Man, it wasn't a traditional, kind of story, I feel like, with artists of how I got started, but I always was interested in it. I always was like the white kid who could freestyle at parties, and I played a little bit of drums growing up, but I was mainly an athlete my whole life, man, and wasn't really even in my nearest thought that like, hey, I'm gonna be a musician one day. But I kind of changed my life around. After college baseball, I quit. Was at a point in my life where I'm like, I'm not happy, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I know I have to make a major change. And it really just came down to like, man, I want to do something cool. And like, what's the coolest thing that I could think of? And all of a sudden, music and life just started to populate more of opportunities for me to, be a part of some musical stuff going on, and took me on a crazy ride from there, man. So
that's awesome. Was it hard? Like, have you played up till college? I mean, it's tough to walk away from something you've been a part of for that long.
I mean, bro, if you like hated it as much as I did at that point, it wasn't too hard, to be honest with you. I mean, with the weight of like scholarship money and, your family, and, my father was a Division I baseball player too. And it's like a strict New York Italian family. So me being like, I'm going to give up, a scholarship and be a musician, it was like the craziest thing in the world. But yeah, I was really good at it, but it wasn't something that I loved. Like I like playing basketball more, for instance, so it was just a decision of like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I know I won't be happy, and I was really aware of like my happiness at that age in my life. So for me, it wasn't that hard, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah. What kind of artists were you looking up to when you were first kind of making that decision to start pursuing?
Man, I listened from everybody, a lot of classic rock, like I said, kind of growing up. And besides that, being from New York, Biggie was huge, in my ear all the time when I was lifting. Being a Biggie fan, I also was a fan of, Pac growing up as well. Lil Wayne to this day is still like one of my favorite, rappers. And besides that, man, like even guys like Citizen Cope. I don't even know if anyone knows who that is, but if you don't, you got to check them out, bro. Because Citizen Cope is a super dope vibe. But I'm into a lot of different stuff, but hip hop and rap was really the stuff that it's really just like the background music to my memories, bro, and me lifting in the gym and the games and the walk-up songs and everything. So hip hop really got me moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of your biggest songs that I saw you live, but like the song that stuck out the most when I first saw you was a song called Vicious.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what went into making that song.
Man, Vicious was made from my guy 2-5, who's actually a producer out of Russia who has a bunch of songs with a bunch of big rappers, and we clicked, we got together, man, and he just sent me that beat, bro, and like I said, it moves me. So like once I played that beat, I was just like, oh damn, something crazy is about to happen. And just the vibes of, that kick and that sample or whatever the hell he used for that, man, it just put me in a place where I just had that, what I'm saying, that gritty kind of feel to it. So it was kind of just, putting my energy in the moment. That's kind of how I make most of my songs, is just whatever the vibe of the track is, I'm going to try to, put my own vibe on top of it. And I just wanted to stomp all over that thing like I was King Kong, bro, and kind of added that extra little cockiness in terms of who the fuck is that white boy, just because I think it just turns people up. But yeah, it's a fun one, man. It's a jumper for sure.
Yeah, and also at that period of time, you look drastically different than you do now.
Right,
the
bro,
hair's all gone. What happened? Where'd the hair go?
This might be the first time I'm on camera with my short hair, bro. I had that long hair for 7 years, man, just down to my shoulders. Another thing I never had, I always had just a crew cut, because sports, easy, nice and easy, boom. But I have a talent agency contract, and on that contract it said I couldn't cut my hair. And I wasn't really thinking about it, but it was like when I got to Nashville, I signed this talent deal, and they said, okay, you can't sign or you can't cut your hair for, until this date. And that was 3 years down the road. And so it was like a big commitment because they're like, hey, we're committing to you with this look, with the tattoos and the long hair. And I was like, cool, whatever. I'm not thinking about cutting it. But I did always have a tiny little seed in the back of my head, like, man, I can't wait till I could buzz it and I could have, you know, my girl like give me a head massage, you know, like, and really feel it. And it got down to that day, and there were some other factors that got in there, but it was last summer, man, and it was coming close to that day on that contract, and I kind of told the agency, like, hey, like, I'm gonna buzz it, and they're like, no, you're not, like, you're not gonna do it. And then I buzzed it, and then I showed up to a shoot I had, and they were just like jaw drop, like, you cut your damn hair. So yeah, I'm letting it grow back now. It's not gonna be as long, but yeah, man, it's different. It's different.
What's different too when you like choose a hairstyle versus being forced to like keep a hairstyle? Like just the fact of being forced to almost makes you want to cut it just because you're forced to keep it.
And that's like my nature, bro. Like that's why I wasn't good in school. I have like that authoritarian complex or whatever it was. So like I was able to understand the business part of it and like not do it for business, but just like you said, when you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna be like more eager to like do it. Yeah, so.
In music, especially out here in Nashville, it feels like a lot of people end up following like rules of the music industry and stuff. What are some ways, like just with your personality and who you are as a person, you found to still be, I guess, happy with how you're pursuing music and what you're doing?
Man, it's a challenge. I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, I decided to move out here. I was on a tour, and my last stop was in Nashville, and it was just so musical, bro. And the people around me, and we went down to Broadway, and just seeing all the different types of musicians, it just really inspired me to like, I was happy with who I was as an artist, but I was like, man, I know if I go here, I'm just gonna level up a lot. But I also, which like you kind of said, a lot of people fall into the trap of, you know, maybe succumbing to the sound that's just natural here or normal here. And I came here, bro, and I was like, I'm gonna shake it up. And I remember I was the first one to like host a party, a hip hop show down on Broadway, because like Broadway is just strictly country acts. Like they'll have clubs and stuff, you know, where they'll play hip hop and like have hip hop shows. But in terms of like a rapper hosting a show, they told me I was the first one on Broadway to do it, you know? So, wow. And it was like, and I went there and I was just like a bull, bro. I was just like, I'm shaking this up, I'm doing my thing. And I met a lot of resistance, bro, you know? Like I really ran into like the fact that, and I got a new song coming out where I say, but like, I'm a Yankee in the South, bro. Like it was like a real deal, like kind of a thing. And being from New York, you know, we just move fast and we just move kind of, people take it aggressively. And it was a challenge, man. And even with some of the labels and the different partners who I've had, I've been pushed and swayed to, hey, what if we tried this style? Or what if we made you the white Shabuzi? Or, you know, like, and I did make some songs that I kind of let go of my integrity of that, you know, just because I was trying to appease the people who, you know, had the label of the success. So I did have my time where like I kind of dropped my shield, but it was very important for me to have that time because I realized like, even though those songs did well and got a lot of views and did streams for me, but it felt worse that I dropped my shield, you know? So it's like, it was a learning lesson for me to be like, cool, you got the streams and all that stuff, but that felt worse because I ran away from the person who I really was, you know? So recently in all my stuff that I've done, when I first got here, then I got mixed up with a label a little bit, but now I'm kind of took a little break and returned back to just doing whatever the hell I want, man. And that's who I am as a person, you know, so it's feeling more right and better now.
I love that. Do you feel like this new stuff is back in the hip hop lane then, or is it kind of like a mixture of both?
Bro, it's all over. It's like it's hip hop always, you know, it's always hip hop leaning, but you know what's surrounding the hip hop is different stuff. You know, we just dropped a song that's like a indie hip hop kind of guitar riff feel, you know, like breathe. Yeah. And it's like, it's just a cool garage band sounding song to me. And I don't know where it falls, you feel me? But this next song I have is like strictly trap. But
I love that.
You know, and then the song after that is like an intellectual, introspective, like spiritual song where like I'm talking about how, you know, my health problems I had and all that. So like I'm all over the place, and shout out to the artists who can just do one thing, because I think that's super dope. You know what I mean? Like they do one thing, they do it really well, and their personality is that. But like, bro, me as a person, I'm just so interested in so many different things that, again, I wouldn't be true to myself if I were to just make one kind of sound of music. So it's like, you know, whether it hurts me or luckily it's done well for me, but like I just do what I want to do, man, and it sounds different. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is like a push to make like one sound of music, but also at the same time, from like the listener's perspective, I don't know anybody that only listens to one kind of music. So like, there's a big push for like artists to be like, okay, you're here in this bubble and this is what you make. But that's not even true of like the fans that listen to music. Yeah. You know,
it's true, man. I mean, when it comes down to it, music is a business, you know, especially when you get to the real business side of it and making money. And, you know, everyone's a product. And it's, when you buy Coca-Cola, everything's wrapped up. It's got the nice can on it. You know the logo from a mile away. And that's why they're able to push that in so many, no matter where you're at, you can see a Coca-Cola and you know what you're going to get. And a lot of labels, you know, they try to do the same thing. You know, I've literally been asked, like, okay, if we were to wrap you up as a product, you know, what would that look like? What would that taste like? What would that feel like? And these are all great things to, you know, ponder as an artist. But, you know, again, me is just like, bro, I'm a blend of everything. On a different day, I may feel a different way about something. I want to talk about something different. I want to make something different because I'm just curious as a person. But, yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't know one person who only listens to one type of music, but luckily my fans kind of know that with me at this point, so they're kind of just like, man, we're just here to rock with you, whatever you're doing, and that's what I appreciate, you know. So the more people who I can just, you know, touch on that side and let them know, hey, you know, expect the unexpected, you know.
Yeah, I feel like at one point when I was following you, I even saw you out in like a field with a Sasquatch doing like a festival.
Yeah, man. What? Shout out Sasquatch, bro.
What led to that? Because that just looked like an all-around great time.
Bro, it was unbelievable. So I had an opportunity. His name's Sasquatch, but S-A-X. So he plays the saxophone. So I've worked with some EDM producers and stuff where they've sent me some beats in the past, but Sasquatch sent me a beat and he was just like, hey man, I'd love for you to rap on it. I was like, yeah, bro, send it over. Normally they actually send me something with like drums and like an actual beat made. This dude just sent me him playing the saxophone on like an 8-minute track. And I was just sitting there and I was with my engineer at the time and I was like, I looked at him, I'm like, bro, there's not even like a normal BPM on this. Like, there's nothing besides him just jamming out on the saxophone, which I really kind of appreciated. I was like, that's kind of dope. So what I did was just, you know, we put a little simple kind of drum kit, you know, behind it. And man, I remember I made it in like 30 minutes, bro, like not really expecting much, but it kind of sent him like 3 different vibes and songs. And he just chose one of them, bro, and he ran with it. And he's gone super viral because he's literally a Sasquatch playing a saxophone. So like he's garnered like millions of views of him playing in the forest, like, and he's so good at playing the saxophone, bro. But from there, the song it's super dope. It's called Bust It Down, and he just invited me to, you know, do a show with him. He invited me to do a show with him in Denver, and that was kind of like my stomping grounds was Denver. Yeah. And I was on the show with him, brought some people out, and once he kind of saw me perform and we, you know, caught the same vibe, he was like, yo, I want you to come on all these big shows with me. And we're supposed to do Bonnaroo, but Bonnaroo got rained out. So I was literally in my Airbnb, like stoked, like, yeah, cool, Bonnaroo, let's do it. And then I get an email from Bonnaroo being like, hey, don't say anything, but we're about to cancel in like 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, damn. But we did like Electric Forest, Summerfest as well in Milwaukee. So playing in front of 10,000 people, 20,000 people, you know, it was, it's awesome. And I'm doing the Caverns with them in July as well.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Like the ones out here, that'd be sick.
Yeah, super dope, man. Yeah. So it was just amazing opportunity that, you know, I took advantage of, and, you know, he's a great dude, and we just had a lot of fun, man. And keep it going, keep busting it down, dog.
What were your thoughts of Summerfest? Because I feel like that's a slept on music festival a lot of people don't know about in Milwaukee.
To be honest, I didn't even know about it, man. It was unbelievable though. It was on the water. It was I'm in my hotel. We were right across from the Bucks Stadium, so that was super cool. But I just love all the different categories of music that they had there, man. I mean, I'd be on one stage and I'd be listening to some rapper going crazy, and then I'd be on another stage and it was like 3 doors down or something.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just, so I was excited to do our show, obviously, you know, like, but I was so excited to go around after and just like, that was my favorite part about all these festivals. It was just going around after, catching the vibe, talking to the people, talking to the different artists, and kind of just being viewer at that point. Like I did my job, cool. Now I just get to go participate. But being in Milwaukee was awesome, man. Summerfest was real cool. There was a fight that broke out.
Yeah, there's always, there's always a couple of fights out
like
there.
Right after our set, I'm talking with some people. I think I got it on camera actually. And I'm just talking with some people. We're doing like a vlog, and then all of a sudden you just bang, bang, bang. It's going crazy, bro. So, but it was awesome. It was
a little too much linies, you know. It goes a long ways out there. No, I think that's the cool thing about festivals. I've always said that, like, if you want to go see someone, like, specifically, it's not always the best to see them at a festival because you're not going to get as close. They're not going to really give, like, their set. But, like, as far as, like, discovering people you might have never listened to, it's one of the coolest avenues to go with it.
Yeah, man. Especially Electric Force. I mean, I would tell everybody, like I said, I like EDM, but, you know, just like the normal person, I'm not like an EDM fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in terms of like a real like, I don't listen to it on a daily basis, but Electric Forest is something special. Like, I would tell everybody to go there, even if you're just a fan of music. Because, I mean, they had people just shredding on the guitars and jam bands, and I think I was only one of like 2 or 3 rappers, to be honest, but it was just it was in the middle of the forest in Michigan, and they put so much effort into the production of the stages, into how the setup was. It was just a big trip, bro, for lack of a better words. It was just so psychedelic in its nature and so creative. It was just such a creative place that, like I said, I'll tell anyone to go there.
Yeah, you've managed to go not only on these festivals, but you've been on a lot of different tours. What are some of the things you've learned through opening for other people and just experiencing life on the road?
Man, I've done a lot of shows, man. Probably over 200 in the country, a few international shows. You know, a lot that I set up myself, but like you said, a lot that's been with other bigger artists. And being on the road is just, it's a beast, bro. It's everyone hears about it, you know, it's fun, it's wild, there's crazy nights, but just getting used to the schedule was the crazy thing. I remember I was on the road with G-Eazy for a little bit, and one story was like, I mean, he was just so back-to-back booked that it was just unbelievable. One time we had a show in Dallas, and then after there was like a club appearance at some club that started at like 3, so you're up till like 5, 6 o'clock. Our flight was at 8 to get to Tampa for a day show. We do the day show in Tampa, and then we fly to Miami for an appearance at 11 in Miami at like 3 o'clock in the morning again. You know, so like that's like the craziest extent that it could get to. Some of the other guys, you know, it's cool. It's a little bit more spread out. You may get like a day or 2 off, but really managing, you know, just now looking back on it, now that I'm a little bit older, managing your health is like
it's a big deal.
It's a big part of it. You know, when I was first doing it, like it was whatever. I was able to stay out, go whatever, and that's just kind of getting your reps in. That was really the most important part there. Me understanding how to work a crowd, me understanding how to get the crowd ready, me understanding how to promote myself in the right way, you know, to a new crowd. Because I've been on the road with hip hop artists, and I've been on the road with R&B singers. I've been on the road with, you know, sometimes where I'm the only hip hop act in the whole lineup, you know. So I've had to cater towards a lot of different audiences, which I think, you know, really helped me on stage, but also my diverse catalog, kind of going back to I don't really have one sound. I could really pull from a lot of different pockets in my catalog to appease whatever audience is in front of me.
Yeah, that's so important because even like going with the same group of people on a tour, like the city can be different too. Like something that can hit in Nashville might not hit the same, you know, a couple states over.
Yeah.
And I feel like anytime you probably finally like, I got it figured out for this tour, it probably changes.
It's so real, bro. City by city is like, it's a whole different vibe. And I want to say shout out to Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City?
Bro, I don't know if it's because of the Mormon culture and like they don't go out as much, but talking about, they had no idea who I was. And this was when I was on a tour with a singer, and I was the only hip hop act, like I said. And I was first on that lineup. And I had the whole place jumping, and I was like, we're in Mormon culture. I was like, I'm gonna come out like the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So I wore literally all leather pants, leather boots, a leather jacket with spikes on it, with my long ass hair down, bro. And I came out, and I saw their faces, and I was like, I'm about to screw y'all up. But they were all about it. But yeah, definitely. Again, it kind of just goes back to city by city. maybe one city's not going to be vibing with you, and you could feel it immediately, like any entertainer across the board, whether it's music, comedy, whatever it is, you could feel the vibe immediately if they're rocking with you. So, but again, as part of that, being a professional, getting your reps in, and okay, you're working through a little hard time, you got to learn how to say something to pop them up a little bit, or ride it out until the next song, or change directions, So again, it's just all part of that experience of being on the road.
Going through a lot of ups and downs on the road comes with its own challenges, but like throughout your time as an artist, you've also had to work through dealing with seizures, which is ironic that one of your favorite artists is Lil Wayne, because I know he also struggles with that.
Yeah, it's ironic, right?
like, did you manifest that?
Oh man, knowing the universe, man, probably that's how it works out.
Make me just like Lil Wayne. Yeah. Fuck. Now this is not what I meant.
So they say, be careful what you wish for, man. Be careful what you wish for. But yeah, it was an unexpected, obstacle, man. And going back to baseball, I quit baseball, quit my scholarship. Like I said, biggest kind of decision I ever made at that point in my life. Took a lot of, pressure for me to do that and to escape that personality. But what happened was, I only know all or nothing. I only know 100%. So at that point, that was my first time in my life where I didn't have like an active dream that I was working towards. I was just kind of like this kid with all this ambition and dream and passion, but I didn't have that dream or that thing that I was chasing. So, and I was in college at the time, a freshman.
Yeah.
So the only thing around me was partying.
Yeah.
So, and I grew up in different high schools, and that was all just outside of New York City, bro. We were going wild. Like, I talk to other people now and talk about their high school, and I realized like how much of a shithead we were. Like I was talking to my buddy. I'm like, man, I can't believe, we're all such good people now, but I'm like, I can't believe we got away with what we got away with. But again, back to that point, I quit baseball. The only thing around me was partying, bro. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna be the best partier on campus then. Like, I'm gonna go hard on this and enjoy it. And it was my first sense of freedom kind of too, in a sense. But what happened was I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on like a beach trip. And last thing I remember, bro, a homie handed me a handle. I started chugging from the handle. Next thing I knew, I woke up 23 hours later in Myrtle Beach Hospital in South Carolina, and I was in a coma. So I came out of a coma for 21, 22 hours. They told my family in New York, they called them up. They're like, hey, we've never seen these kind of numbers before. We don't know if he's going to wake up as a vegetable. We don't know if he's going to wake up. Like, come say your goodbyes. And I got a big family in New York. And so when you get pulled over with your blood alcohol concentration, 0.08 is illegal.
Yeah.
The normal human body starts to reject it about 0.2, starts to throw it up. If you Google it, 0.4 is like, you probably are going to die. 0.5 is like, you're dead, dog.
Yeah.
I had a 0.62 with different substances in my body. You feel me? So like,
your body, yeah.
I was out.
Yeah.
I was out. And they were like, we've had alcoholics who have been here for 50 years and had never touched these numbers. But I woke up, looked to my right, my homie Marcus is there. I'm like, yo, make sure my family knows I'm good, not knowing what day it was. I was on all different types of drugs, from the anesthesia, whatever. And he's like, bro, roll over. And then I rolled over. I see my 3 sisters, my dad, my mom's boyfriend, and I'm like, the hell? And again, I was on all these drugs that I was hitting on the nurses. It didn't set in what happened because I had no sense of what happened. But that was kind of like the first big thing that, on my health journey that made a stamp on my timeline. And when you go through something like that, it's kind of hard to comprehend, when that stuff happens. You don't really know the implications of what's going to happen down the road. And my first seizure I had was in Colorado. At the time, I kind of just thought it was like altitude. Maybe I was pushing myself too hard. Maybe I was smoking too much or whatever it was, but got tests done. They didn't find anything, and they never found anything across the country. I've seen a whole bunch of different doctors, and now I'm at the point where I've had maybe 8 to 9 seizures, and there's nothing mechanically wrong, with my brain. But it's kind of been a whole journey in itself of figuring out what's causing this, what's happening. And also, I finally recently took a step back of being like, hey, I can't just brush these off anymore and just bounce right back to the studio or bounce right back to the show. I got to really address this and figure it out and stop it. So that's kind of why, it's part of me cutting my hair off and kind of retreating for a little bit, because I had to take a retreat and kind of go inward and be like, dissect myself from the inside and kind of figure it out. So, but it got to a point where I had 5 seizures in 13 months, and it was during one of the most successful years of my life, coming off my second headlining tour across the country and being with Sasquatch, playing in front of 10,000 people, 20,000 people, massive festivals, all this success, record deal, this and that. And then I consciously put the brake on and I was like, I'm done. Like, I got to figure this out. So it was, like I said, it's a whole journey, man. It's a whole journey trying to navigate it, but we're getting better, man. So we're about almost 7 months seizure free right now.
Congratulations. That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it, brother.
That has to be really frustrating when you're, obviously a fit guy that's taking care of himself in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, I think you were running marathons, weren't you?
Yeah.
Running marathons. Obviously lifting too, doing all this stuff, and feeling like, I feel like the impending piece of it would be like the worst part of it, because you just don't know when it's going to happen and when it's not.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the seizure world, they get like, it's called an aura, where they'll feel something or they'll smell something that's off, or they'll have just something in their body or in their psyche that is just off, and they'll like, no, okay, let me take medicine and let me lay down. But for me, bro, is all my seizures, one of my seizures on a music video set, you know what I mean? I'm literally in the middle of changing. I'm feeling good. I'm chilling. We're filming. And then the next thing I know, when I come to, I'm getting pulled in the back of an ambulance, and I'm like, what? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like they're a weird thing, at least for me, where it's like I could be having this conversation with you just as normal, and then your next sentence could be, yo, you just had a seizure, you're out for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, what? You know what I mean? It's like a time travel. So that was kind of, and still is, like the most, difficult and frightening part about it is that, I don't know when it's coming. And so that's why I was just what I learned is that I just had to be more inner tuned with my body and understand my body signals, because just the way I grew up, and, we all have trauma, I was just real good at just putting a wall up. And it was the reason why I was also really good at running marathons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't feel pain, bro. Like, I literally went from never running a race in my life. The first race I ever ran in, because I was a lifter, you know what I'm saying? I was an explosive athlete. I hated long distance. But when they put some bread in front of my face, these brands, and they're like, hey, you run a marathon? I was like, cool, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But I had such a, physiological, spiritual, physical block that was in my body that I ran the marathon, and it hurt, you know what I'm saying? But the next marathon I ran was like a 3:23 pace, which is like, I qualified for the Boston Marathon, and I didn't do a lot of training. So like I said, it was just a big wall that I kind of put up, man. But learning how to break that wall down has kind of been my journey these past like 7 months, and really get back in touch with my body so I can learn the signs, and I can kind of learn like, hey, you're doing too much, because being a businessman and being a musician and everything that comes with being a musician nowadays is very cerebral, and it's very on top of my active lifestyle, being fit and working out. I just never knew how to calm down, bro. I've just always been a hustler. I've just like since forever, bro. I just been a hustler, grinder, keep going. So being that kind of attitude and then translating to, business, and you had more pressure on when you're with partners and this and that, I just never wanted to let myself down and my own expectations or other people. So I just had to learn, hey, chill out. At the end of it, I just had to learn to calm down a little bit, bro. So
was that hard though? Because I know I've kind of dealt with this a little bit in the past too, where it's like when you have like that hustle mentality and you just like go, you almost feel like you're letting yourself down when you take time away and you're being more health conscious and you're getting your sleep and you're getting your rest. It feels like you're not like at your fullest potential when you're doing what you need to, but that's the hard thing to balance.
It's extremely hard, man. It was, it's very easy to change, physical things, at least for me, or stuff that's in the external. I'm good at changing. If something's got to change in my business, if someone's got to change in a relationship, cool, I'm able to handle that. But internally, changing my persona, my personality, and the way that I attack things, like that was embedded in me since 12 years old, grinding for sports and staying out late and working out before middle school, like crazy stuff my dad had me doing and that I love doing, working out, going to school, and then practicing, then going to the batting cage after. Like that's just who I was. So I was breaking that kind of character down, you know. It was difficult, but there was no alternative. You know what I mean? Like it came to a point where I was like, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is only going to be sending me so many more signals. You know, the seizures, because I'm such a stubborn, hard-headed person. Some people get like gently nudged, like, hey, like you got to change something up. For me, like the universe had to knock me out, bro. So like, and my shoulder's handicapped now, bro. You know, so like I have a handicapped shoulder. I have these seizures, so there's no alternative of like, I gotta figure it out. So like, or else like, there's not, the next warning call is gonna be me dead. You feel me? It's like, it was that heavy. So it was difficult, but knowing that was the only alternative was like death, or I'm gonna be mentally impaired for the rest of my life. That kind of weight added a lot of motivation and added a lot of just real life presence that I had to like step in and recognize that it's real, you know? So like I said before, I was easy to brush it off, but this time I really had to dive in. So
yeah, what do you think's been the most rewarding part of the journey of stepping away for this period of time and now kind of coming back? And
man, I think just mentally the unwinding of my psyche and of my brain. You know, I compare it to RPMs in a car. You know, I feel like I've always been I don't want to say like autistic, but like a very my brain has always been just going crazy, and I didn't realize it, you know, because it's hard to realize and recognize and be conscious of, you know, your brain activity or your thoughts, or you think you're the same as everybody else. And but once I kind of understood, you know, the RPMs of my brain were running at 3,000 for years, you know what I mean? So having that was learning how to calm that down and learning how to just, you know, be in my body more and take some time off of just constantly challenging myself to get the next hit song, get the next big tour book, make more money, and kind of be comfortable with finally accepting that, cool, you know what, I don't have to be on the grind right now. And it kind of just gave me a different perspective on life in general, bro, and being more in the present. I was such a business-minded person that my relationships kind of suffered, you know, with the people around me or my family. But now I'm just much more in the present. I'm much more grateful for what I have and what I've accomplished, and the relationships I have, you know, I hold more dearly, you know, because I know what it's like when I got to call my family and let them know, hey, I'm in the hospital. And yes, it hurts me, but it hurts me more that they're hurt and they're worried about it. So now I gain a lot of happiness being like, hey, you know, Mom, Pop, I'm 6 months seizure free, like coming on 7. Hey, I'm about to be 8. That gives me excitement now, you know, so giving them comfort and giving the people around me in my circle comfort. So yeah,
that's awesome. And excitement for the fans with the new music on the way. Yeah. That's cool too, right?
Yeah, it's like I said, I took after 8 years of posting every day, doing the most for content my whole life, bro, like taking 7 months off, that was one of the hardest things, you know, just not being on my phone, not shutting down that kind of creative side of that content brain, but plugging off of social media was hard at first, but then I ended up, it was amazing not hitting that button, you know, hitting that button and not feeling compelled to do it. But yeah, now, you know, I'm just excited, and I'm really excited to, you know, show my fans and show the people around me how differently I'm approaching it now, you know, and let them see how much I grew, you know, and how much I'm continuing to grow. And it's kind of like that saying, you know, disappear and come back unrecognizable, bro. You know, I shaved my head. You know? I shaved my head. I changed myself. I changed my priorities. And I think, you know, that's as an artist, that's a risk, bro, you know, straight up. And building a brand for so long of being this, you know, badass looking dude and having the girls in his videos and going crazy online for, you know, girls twerking on him and feeding them chicken and stuff, you know, like, again, it worked as a brand. Like, it worked as like a thing that people wanted to see. But now, you know, me taking a step and kind of detaching from that character and falling back into a more authentic version of myself, it's a risk as an artist, you know, in terms of, you know, maybe what a label would say. And me, I have all the confidence in the world because I'm just like, man, I know how it worked. I did it. And now I really get to be a more insightful version of myself, a more accurate version of myself, a more motivated and healthy version of myself that I get to approach, you know, my artistry. And I think, and that's what excites me as well. So shout out to my day ones and all my diehard fans, you know, so big love to them. I know a whole lot of people logged off of me though when I stopped doing all that crazy stuff. But like I said, it's all good, man. You got to find the ones who, you know, who are willing to, you know, respect you and rock with what you're doing.
No, and those are the ones that matter the most at the end of the day, too. I mean, there's so many passive listeners in the world, and not that there's not appreciation for that, but if the wind can take someone off your music, then maybe they're not like the focal point.
Yeah, man. Let it be, like I said, and I was talking to one of my artist friends recently, and you know, you gotta let it, they're fans, man. Fans are always they're gonna love you one day, they're gonna hate you another day, and let them go, man. You know, I'm not trying to hold anyone hostage. You know, yeah. I'm like, hey, be you. You know, be you. That's cool. Because, like I said, there's a lot of people in this world, bro. Yeah, there's a lot of people. So it's like, just I want to make more and more room for the new people who are gonna find me now. You know, yeah. So it's like, hey, that's not me. Salutations, my brother. You know, go. There's a million artists to listen to. There's a million people to follow. But I just want the ones who resonate with me.
Yeah, 100%. We still got quite a bit of time left in this year here, but if you could look back at the end of this year and just your return and everything with music, what would success look like for you?
Man, success, I mean, music-wise, you know, I'm real happy with where it's going. You know, I'm taking some time off of live shows until I get to about, I'm aiming for like 10 months seizure-free before I start live shows, but music, I'm comfortable, bro. Like, I'm super happy with where I'm at. I think I found my success in music and in my relationships. For me, it's now, I'm trying to find success in building a community that I can share my experiences, you know, with, and people who are not only just here to listen to my music, man. I'm trying to find success in sharing my story and helping people through my story. And that's kind of what I'm focused on right now. Been, you know, trying some different ideas, you know, on my medias and stuff, but really just garnering a group of people that are into mental health, are into diving into topics like, you know, the spirit and your journey and where you may have gone right and where you can gone left, but whatever it is, like I just want to find and build that community that I can just talk to candidly, you know, that I'm not pushing a product on. And we're just kind of like what I'm doing on my stories now, man, of what's hurting you today, you know. And when I get flooded with these responses about people talking about their emotions and what they're going through in life, I don't care. Like, some people don't respond to their fans, bro, but especially when I put those up and they're pouring their heart out to me about something that I'm writing paragraphs back to them, you know, for hours, and I love it, you know. So it's like finding the right way for me to group all that energy together and what that's going to look like in an online presence. You know, that's kind of where my mind is at right now. So once I kind of find that medium for me to be able to hold that community, to have that conversation that a lot of people don't want to have, that's kind of where my heart's at right now. That's where I'll really be like, cool, like now that's a different level of success for me. So
yeah, I love that. I think that's there's a lot of people that get upset with the need to post on social media nowadays as an artist, but I think one of the coolest pieces is the connection you can now have with the artists that you listen to, and the level of knowledge you can have of who they are as a person and the conversations you can share. Because before, when we were growing up, it was like, yeah, you might get a dap as they're leaving, and that's like and then you won't see them again till they're on tour. What's mystery? Yeah, it's a mystery. You know? What do you think kind of changed your motor on that, as far as like, I mean, I'm guessing as most artists, when you're starting out, you're just like, yeah, I just want big crowds, people singing my lyrics back to me. When did that switch to, I want to like connect and build this spiritual community with my fans?
Man, I think it was a combination of, you know, I wrote a lot of things down in my journal of what I wanted to happen, you know, when I was young, especially when I first started music. You know, I wanted millions of streams, millions of views. I wanted to play in front of a lot of people. And, you know I'm not the biggest artist in the world. I'm not the biggest artist in Nashville. I'm not, you know, I know where I'm at, you know, but I also do know what I've done. And because of me knowing what I've done and how much I've accomplished as a musician, blows my mind. And like I said, I checked off so much of the things that I wrote down. So I kind of hit a crossroads of that. And then with the kind of stuff that was happening to me, you know, in my health, it was like kind of two sides of the coin of like, cool, I got the music goals all down, but the tail side of this is I'm dealing with this stuff mentally. And it's like I have a platform, I have an influence. And naturally, I've always loved, you know, the body and the mind. And, you know, it was just a perfect kind of scenario for me to be like, great, I have this, I have a lot of good partners, I have a lot of good team on this side, but kind of what we're going back to earlier, I'm not just a straight line, singular person of music is my favorite thing in the world, you know? Mm-hmm. Music is my love of my life, is what I call it. You know, it's the absolute love of my life. But, you know, I got some side girls at the same time in my journey of, I love, like I said, the spirit. I love health. And for me to really understand health, I feel like I had to get the full experience of not having health. And I think, again, I couldn't run away from it. It's something that I had to know, or I knew that I had to dive in and really tell my story and just try to help people, man, you know, because it's cool to be on stage and playing in front of people and having them sing your lyrics back and going crazy. But it's a deeper soul satisfaction just me helping someone out on Instagram, you know, sending them some words. And that gives me deeper gratification now. So I don't know if it's because I've gotten older or what, but maybe I'm getting softer or something. I just got a new kitten or something. So maybe that's adding to it. My heart's getting a little bit, but yeah, man, I'm just finding different, you know, satisfaction in different things now.
What do you think has led to just like where mental health is at as a society? Because I feel like in a lot of ways life has never been easier, but in so many ways it feels so much harder at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's kind of just that situation of whichever direction you want to view life in today's age, you're going to get that multiplied by 100,000 because of technology, you know? So it's not as simple, obviously, as it once was, just in terms of information coming to our brains, you know, which I think is a big thing with mental health now, is that the stimulus is just so high. And unfortunately, a lot of that stimulus causes comparison, and comparison causes a lot of negative thoughts, you know, for a lot of people. And the combination just between constant comparison and the constant shoot of knowledge that's just coming to your way that, you know, you feel like you can't control, but kind of like you said, it can be easier, you know, if you just choose to filter out what you want to see and you really are disciplined about the information that you're letting into your brain. But it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you don't have the knowledge of, you know, yourself or maybe some outside resources like some books. But if you're just a victim of just getting attacked by information and by, it's going to cause a lot of different emotions in you. So I think it takes a lot in today's day and age to be emotionally strong and have conviction in who you are and be proud of yourself, man. Like I try to tell people now, like, bro, you got to be easy on yourself, bro. Like, be proud of what you've done. It's not an easy thing to be just a person, you know? Like, it's hard to just be a person sometimes. So it's just like, we've all done a lot. We've all done well. And it's kind of reminding yourself that. But you don't get a lot of reminders of that when you're on media and you're online and stuff. So trying to bring more light to that side for sure.
Yeah. If you're at a show and a fan comes up to you, I guess really just lost and not sure where to start on their journey of, I guess, maybe appreciating themselves more, what would you recommend them to start with as far as like getting kind of a grasp on the start?
Man, I say it just starts with, again, giving yourself grace. I think is just such a big first step because everyone's so hard on themselves, you know, and I know that because I was so hard on myself. I was achieving all these amazing things, but it never was enough, you know, and it's an addiction. So it's like giving yourself grace of recognizing that, hey, the situation I'm in is hard right now. It's difficult, but I'm able to handle it. And the way that I'm handling it and the way I've handled it in the past, the way I've handled past situations in my life, you know, I always have them try to reflect on the small wins that they've had in the past and just remembering you've gotten through a lot already. You know, you've gone through a lot. You're a lot stronger than you think. And once you kind of build that little, you know, inner confidence up of reminding yourself of the small wins and giving yourself grace and that's kind of what leads you down towards the path of just self-love, and I think that's the ultimate goal is just, when you love yourself, you love the universe, you love everyone around you, but you got to love yourself first, and it seems like it's an easy thing to do, but like to really love who you are and be happy with who you are and be happy with the moment and be okay with all the bad stuff that not only happened, but is happening. And you're still just understand that, hey, this is the human process, bro. I tell people, yo, just throw your hands up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, shit's hitting the fan. Like, man, shit's hitting the fan. Okay. Like, it's just part of being human. And that's what I think is the biggest mission. And, what I want to make clear to people is just like, stuff is going to go wrong. You know what I mean? It's inevitable. And I don't mean to be like dark and like,
no, but
stuff is going to go wrong, man. And it's just like, it's just part of being human. We didn't choose to wake up in this reality, but we did. And now that we're here, it's part of being human. It's part of the process. And the biggest goal in my brain is still learning how to operate, and not just operate, but thrive and be happy while stuff is going on. Mm-hmm. And being okay with your past traumas, being okay. I could be scared every second because of the seizures and stuff, because of the comas, and I know some seizure patients who are terrified, but throw my hands up, man. I can't control it. I'm going to do my absolute best. And of course, you got to do your best. You can't just be lazy and throw your hands up. Like, you got to strive to be a better person and do all that. But, again, at the end of the day, you can't control some stuff. So just learn how to be okay while the storm is going on, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think now more than ever, there's so many things that happen in and outside of our lives that are just 100% outside of our control. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to focus on what you can't control. But at the end of the day, if you can't control it, you can't do anything about it. So focusing on the stuff that you can control and taking accountabilities for the part that you're involved with, I think with everything just helps you to feel more satisfied with the part that you're playing and the person you're projecting out into the world.
Absolutely, man. I think it's one of, you got to be responsible for it, because if you're not responsible, if you're not holding yourself down and how you react to things, and instead of react, you got to respond, because reaction is just what your body knows. It just knows to get angry, it just knows to get sad. But once you learn how to unwind that a little bit, you start to respond to stuff. But just like you said, again, even the war, bro, Like, I know people got a lot of views on politics and the war, I'm not going to talk on that because I don't really have that many views because, again, it's out of my control, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't do nothing about what they're doing, dog. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not going to let that hurt me and hurt my world and hurt my relationships with my people and put a bad negative influence or vibration out to the ones who I love because something that's happening that's so far out of my control, So it's just a good metaphor for, like, you can't control it, man. So learn how to control yourself and make that your duty. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, make that your duty, that you're not going to get shaken. Be a tree in the storm, bro. You could bend, but you're not going to break.
Yeah. Anytime anyone brings up war now, I don't know if you've heard Lil Dicky's Pillow Talking song with the little brain guy in it. I haven't heard it, no. The brain comes in and just says, "Do you fuck with the war?" And that like plays in my head every time.
That's funny.
But if you could share one thing with, fans and people that follow you and just where you're at with everything, we'll close with that.
Man, be happy, man. And like I said, it's so cliche, like such an easy thing to say, but I found so much gratitude in finding actual happiness beyond physical and success in careers. I was so fixated on focusing my happiness on something in the future or focusing on obtaining a goal. And you can get very good at obtaining goals. You can get very good at obtaining things, money, whatever it is. But the real hardest thing in this life to obtain, like I said, is just, I believe, is happiness, pure happiness. So just be happy, man. Just find those ways to, everything. There's small things that make everyone happy, and it's just sticking to those things. There's happy thoughts that you could find, that you could cultivate those happy thoughts, because not only is it going to make you a better person, it's going to make the better people around you a lot happier and better too. So I just say, find those small things that make you happy, that internally make you happy, and just ride those out, man. Ride the wave. Don't get lost in the sauce too much, man. It's just going to happen, like we said, but understand that's life and we're only human. you know. So just be the best human you could be, man, and have fun, dog. We're only here to have fun, you know.
Yeah.
I was so stuck on, I gotta struggle, I gotta go hard. I was listening to podcasts, David Goggins yelling in my ear, Jocko Willink every morning, 7 o'clock, while I was running, while I was working out, and I was so locked in on, hey, I gotta keep struggling, and what happened? The universe and God threw me more struggle. So it's, again, just have fun. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy it. Enjoy the food you eat. Enjoy the drinks you drink. Enjoy the company you're with. And just romanticize that. Like, fall in love with it, man. Fall in love with the process of being human.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it a lot.
The real Batman, man.